Hello and welcome to Viewpoints. I'm Stephen Sund, and with me today is John Joyce. He's Chief of Police of the Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority. Today I'll be talking to John Joyce about his thesis that he wrote for the Naval Postgraduate School. TSA's 4 major security programs for mass transit, how they can be improved for Tier 2 mass transit agencies. Good afternoon, Mr. Joyce.
Good afternoon, Steve. Thanks for having me here today.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you came across your thesis topic for the program?
Well, really, the way I came up with this thesis topic is based on my day-to-day workings as the Chief of Police for the Transit Authority. You know, I deal with these issues related to TSA's major security programs on a day-to-day basis. The programs include the Transit Security Grant Program. Of course, we compete for those grants every year. Another program is the National Explosive Detection K-19 program. And we've been fortunate to be able to participate in that program, so it was familiar with me. And then there's a couple of others that are also important, like the Surface Transportation Security Inspector program, as well as the VIPER program, also known as the Visible Intermodal Prevention and Response Team program. So we deal with them on a day-to-day basis, so the idea came naturally.
John, when you talk about the Tier 2 agencies, what exactly are you referring to?
Sure, Steve. The regions of the country are broken down into 2 tiers, Tier 1 and Tier 2, and they're based upon DHS's urban areas. So Tier 1 is DHS's 8 largest urban areas, and Tier 2 are all of the other urban areas. Essentially, there's 8 Tier 1s and 51 Tier 2s.
And the main reasoning behind your thesis is to get more attention for the Tier 2 agencies?
Well, that's a big part of it. And if you take a look at what we're doing in the country, it seems as though we are pursuing a strategy, rightfully so, up until this point, based upon a model that followed the 9/11 attacks. And when it comes to mass transit, we have to take into consideration the 2004 attacks in Madrid, then again, the London attacks in 2005, and followed by the Mumbai attacks in India. And if you look at all those are spectacular attacks on major city mass transit agencies. And as a result, we've focused our resources to a large degree on our nation's Tier 1 major urban areas, rightfully so, as I indicated. What caught my attention, though, is that in the last couple of years, you know, we've had kind of a changing threat model where now, rather than the Al-Qaeda Central and the threat of the spectacular attack, which is always there, hasn't gone away, we also have a changing threat environment. Today we're facing that homegrown terrorism threat. And in the past couple of years, we've had at least a dozen cases come to light, actual terrorism convictions in Tier 2 regions. So my concern, Steve, has been that we've put a large amount of our resources to protect the Tier 1 agencies, and have we applied enough resources to protect the Tier 2 regions with this changing threat environment?
I could see that being a real serious concern because we think that some of the terrorists are looking at more of the soft targets, and some of the Tier 2 agencies would create that opportunity for them.
That's right. Even in light of the recent event in Israel with the bus bombing, most of the Tier 2 mass transit agencies are in fact bus agencies. And so while I think it's appropriate to be concerned about large subways, underground subways in major urban areas, a bus full of people does represent a significant target to a terrorist.
I could see that being a very, very serious concern. What are you looking to accomplish with your thesis? What ultimately how do you like to see it applied?
Well, what I did is I tried to take a look at high-level recommendations, and I interviewed chiefs of police around the country for mass transit agencies. And one of the things that came out in those interviews was that, with the limited resources, financial resources, with the economic environment that we're in, they're really strapped for human resources, law enforcement officers. The other thing that they really need are explosive detection K-9 team program resources. And so I took a look at that, and I tried to come up with some ways where we could increase the number of law enforcement officers for Tier 2 mass transit agencies, and also look for a way to increase the number of explosive detection K-9 teams for those agencies.
That's a very good topic that you've chosen for your program at the Naval Postgraduate School. I'd like to thank you for coming in and being part of the interview at Viewpoints. Thank you very much.
It was my pleasure to be here, Steve. Thank you.